Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with something a little bit different. I was just, scrolling in Instagram, just minding my business over the weekend, where I came across this particular thing right here from Bring NCAA Back. The first potential rumors, the first potential details of EA college football that is supposed to come out in 2023 as of the recording of this video, of course. So, of course, these are rumors, so gotta take them with a grain of salt, but at least be something fun to talk about. So, if you're excited about this video, finding out what's going on with EA college football, smash that like button for me. Hit me up down in the comments to let me know what your thoughts are about how EA college football is coming around so far. And also, if you're brand new, you like college football content, whether that be from NCAA 14, whether that be from the earlier NCAA games, or even a smaller game like Maximum Football, hit that subscribe button for me. We got plenty of college football and professional football content here on the channel. But with that being said, let's go ahead and see what we got in terms of details. So here we can go ahead and start off with what we already know, is that the game will release in July of 2023, which was about what we expected, a couple years from now, in that 2023 game cycle in the summertime, so right before college football is really going to start ramping up. So really no surprises there, but things really start to get interesting after that. Looks like the development team, they're split on how they want to go about making the game. Half of them want to, stay away from that Madden formula, which is understandable given the negative feedback that was given for both Madden 21 and also in this Madden 22 gaming cycle right now, while the other half, I guess, wants to copy NCAA 14, which from a gameplay perspective, it isn't that bad, so like if it was like a carbon copy, so maybe that means we might see a different game engine, from the Frostbite engine, which, don't get me wrong, great engine, it's good for shooters, but for sports video games, that just ain't it. Team Builder seems like it is also returning as well, which thank goodness for that. NCAA 14, you're technically still allowed to use the Team Builder, but you couldn't create new teams. You could still download existing teams. So it looks like Team Builder will be coming back in full capacity. So thank goodness for that as well. And then on top of that, custom stadiums will be making an appearance as well, and that really brings me back to, I guess, like NCAA basketball 10, where as your program got better, you can get some upgrades for your program, and it just adds more immersion to potential team builder dynasties down the road for content creators everywhere, as well as for the general populace. Just because if you start off as like a one-star school with like walk-ons, and then you build yourself to a national championship caliber program, you're not going to just go ahead and keep that small stadium with 5,000 seats, right? You're going to upgrade. You're going to get more seats so you can get more butts in the seats and drive in more football revenue for your football program. So that's really nice to see. I'm glad that they are adding that back in as well, or at least making it a new feature, because I can't remember last time that we had actual custom stadiums. Maybe in like the PS2 college football games, but it's been a really long time regardless. And then in addition to that as well, it does also seem like recruiting is going to be different than what we saw in NCAA 14. Says that they are going to revamp it, but it will probably be similar to when we made phone calls. So that's probably in reference to NCAA football 10, where the the coach can kind of go ahead and kind of dictate how the phone conversation goes, as well as, or NCAA football 12, where it seemed like the recruits themselves had a little bit more control over how the phone call went, and occasionally the coach, had a chance to go ahead and talk about something that they're really good at as well. So that'll be really interesting to see. I'm wondering if they also try to implement where, depending on how bad your football program is, that if certain prospects just will outright not pick up the phone for you. They had it a little bit in NCAA 14 where certain prospects would be blacked out just because there was a certain criteria that the school was not meeting that needed to be addressed before the recruit would even think about going ahead and signing to your football program. Hopefully they have something like that as well. I think that'll be a really nice touch and really nice attention to detail as well. Moving on to the next portion of this Instagram post, and see some nice stuff here as well. Spring practices, making an appearance back. I know that was a thing in NCAA Football 10 as well as in some of the earlier NCAA games as well. So that'll be really nice to see, whether that be we see like the Oklahoma drill, that quarterback pocket drill, those kinds of drills. I think that would be really cool to see, and especially if those kind of drills eventually do lead to your college players end up getting some attribute points, or even just a spring game, being able to go ahead and try to figure out who you want the starter to be before we even get to the start of the season. If that's something that interests you guys as well. On top of that, and I've never seen this, I think, in an NCAA game before, rushing the field, goalposts being torn down will happen. Now that would be a really nice touch of detail, especially if you are a really small program, you end up upsetting like a top 5, top 10 team in the nation at your home field. Not looking at you, Kansas. I don't think they'll storm the field in this game if you beat an FCS team by like 2 points. I'm just saying. But that'll be really nice to touch of detail. That would be really cool to see. And then developing team also wants every stadium experience to be different. Now, whether that be Virginia Tech's Enter Sandman, the script Ohio at Ohio State, like they want to make sure that every stadium feels different. I think that would be really cool to see. I think that's certainly possible, given that we are 2 years out. There's certainly plenty of time to get those smaller details in there to really make the college football experience feel unique. But then I also have to reinsert the disclaimer once again that this is a rumor, so take this with a grain of salt, because next part of this post is that there will be no road to glory in the first EA college football game. Now, I personally don't think that this will be very likely personally, simply because we do already have something like that, in Madden, with Madden 22, got the face of the franchise, given it could certainly use some significant improvements. I mean, it's got a long way to go before it even gets close to matching the 2K My Career that is being offered, in 2K21 and 22. More specifically, that just came out not too long ago. So worst case scenario, maybe it's not a great RTG necessarily, with the first EA college football, but I would assume that they would at the very least have like a carbon copy from like Madden Face of the franchise. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I'm not too terribly worried about that. But one thing that I am deeply concerned about, if that rumor does turn out to be true, is MUT being the main focus of the game. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that really gives me a really bad feeling personally, simply because as a college football guy, I get a college football video game for one reason and one reason only, and that is for the college football dynasty mode, right? That's why I got NCAA 14. That's why I invested in Maximum Football with what I did here on this channel. I play college football to play the college dynasty. So I personally think that the dynasty mode in a college football game is released by EA Sports needs to be the main focus. Plus, you see MUT being the main focus for years on the Madden franchises. And I can't think of one Madden game ever since we got into like the Xbox One, PS4 generation of consoles that was considered a good Madden, right? Say what you want about the Madden franchise, MUT being the main focus has not been a good look for Madden. There will be a riot if EA College Football, this game comes out and the Dynasty mode is simply lacking depth and quality, right? So that, I hope that changes deep down, because if not, that is going to be deeply worrisome moving forward. So then we go ahead and get into the final portion of this EA College Football rumor post, that I saw on Instagram. And this is what we're looking at right now. It seems like the dev team does want players to be carted off, so that's helmets to fly off, but the schools don't want that. So I'm going to be really interested to see who ends up winning out, in that little dispute right there, because I understand maybe not seeing players being carted off, from a college football administrator perspective, but like the helmets flying off, that I feel like that should be in the game, because that could add a little bit more dynamic to the gameplay. Because if you guys know how American college football works, if a person's helmet flies off and is not pertaining to a penalty, that player has to come out for a play and a backup has to come in. So that would be like an interesting strategy to see, that play out, if that is able to be implemented into the game. Now, unfortunately, it does also mention that it will feel the same as Madden when it comes to gameplay. So hopefully, I know I mentioned this earlier, that they were trying to go with either the Madden formula, or getting away from the Madden formula, or going with a copy of NCAA 14. Please do not use the Frostbite engine. That is the biggest thing that I am concerned about, besides the fact that it is MUT driven potentially, you know what I'm saying? But if it is if you want to go with the NCAA 14 formula, that's fine. I'm cool with NCAA 14. I like NCAA 14. I played it here on the channel. So I don't know what gaming engine that NCAA 14 used for its game, but please use that, before you use Frostbite. Even if it's not like a major difference, for NCAA from NCAA 14, I would rather take that personally than seeing the Frostbite engine, because it's not meant for sports games. It is a shooter based engine. It would be great if EA Sport created a shooter. It's great for I guess like the Battlefield games that EA Sports came out with in the past. But that being said, do not, and I'm gonna say this probably so I don't have a voice anymore, do not use the Frostbite engine for a football game. It should not be that hard. But I don't know, man. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just speculating at this point. Good news is, though, there is a couple other points that do get me a little bit more excited about this game. There is the custom conferences potentially being revamped, and I know changing conferences was a thing in NCAA 14, so I wonder if that means potentially you can go ahead and maybe call up some FCS teams, move them up to the FBS level for your college football dynasty, and if so, can you add on to the 130 teams that are currently in the FBS as of right now? Or are you going to have to replace one of these lower end FBS teams in order for an FCS team to, to go up to that FBS level and play high major college football? And then, that being said, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the playoff format. Now, it looks like there is a customizable option before you start your dynasty, whether you want to keep the 14 playoff or you can move it up, as high as 12 teams. That is the current formula that is, or proposal that is currently in place. Getting a 12-team playoff. That'll be really nice to see. I personally would prefer 8 teams personally, so that way you have each Power 5 champion, your best group of 5 teams, so like your Cincinnati or UCF, Boise State, Coastal Carolina, they can have a shot as well, and then get a few wild cards. But if you want as many as 12 teams in your playoff, that'll be really cool to see as well. And I mean, at least the option is there if you want it. But that is really all that I had for today. But that being said, how are you guys feeling about EA College Football? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are in terms of maybe what you're most excited about, for this game, as well as maybe what you're most concerned about with the development of this game as well, from EA Sports. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, you found it to be helpful and informational about, EA College Football coming back in 2023, smash that like button for me, and shoot, if you haven't done so already and you're a college football fan like myself, hit that subscribe button as well. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to be subscribed to the channel, and you can always unsubscribe if you're not feeling me later. So anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.